It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to our midday broadcast. Now, here in South Africa, thousands of people suffer from trauma every day, in fact, but do not have access to psychological help. And in order to constitute and contribute positively to the healing and well-being of our communities, Good Hope Psychological Service, a non-profit organization, was set up to offer free professional psychological therapy to those in need. And one of their community groups has gone on to create a garden of healing in Paarl that's allowing their patients to tell their personal stories of trauma and then to heal. Karina de Klerk, the director of GHPS, joins us to tell us more about what sounds like a wonderful organization. Today's hit me hard. This is your day every day, taking on board the trauma, these unspeakable things that so many South Africans have to deal with and then try to overcome every single day. There is a lot to your story. I know maybe you can take us back to the beginning.
Okay, so the garden, it's a project of Good Hope Psychological Service. So how it started was in 2005. So we have a branch in Paarl and a branch in Stellenbosch, and one of the staff members decided or saw the need for a support group for psychiatric patients. And they met regularly on a monthly basis, and they would discuss different topics every time. And during one of the meetings, they discussed the theme was sexual molestation, and Sarah, who facilitated the group, realized that almost all the members of the group had been victims of sexual molestation or rape. And because the group had been going for a while by then, the group members felt safe enough to be able to share their stories. And because the group members are from under-resourced communities where they have no or little social support. So there they had a safe space for the first time. They were able to share and express emotions, and what they were experiencing. And it was so powerful that the group then decided we want to do something where you can physically show our journey of healing and what we've been through, and so they took it on as a project, and that's how it started.
I understand then that obviously everything in that garden signifies something. Why use that context? Why create a garden specifically, and what's the relevance of that?
So what makes that specific project and that garden so incredible is that it depicts a journey as you walk through the garden. So there's different sections. So there's a black, different themes. So there's a black section that represents that feeling of hopelessness and why me? Why did this happen to me? And there's the like Lynn was talking about, there's a section that depicts the fear and the anger of, am I ever going to be safe again? And there's a blue section that depicts the memories of, survivors of trauma are often trapped in that memory of, flashbacks and
repeating.
And there's also, so apart from the sections, the group members took very specific personal, the personal story of. There's a piece, a section of the garden where there's a rocky path, and it symbolizes one of the women who was dragged over rocks, in her attack. So it's very hard to see, but it's also incredibly powerful when you walk through the garden to experience that, the different themes and that transpires.
And see the metamorphosis, because you're taking a person from a point, I would imagine, of darkness, and you're bringing them to a place of some kind of hope. What transformation have you seen in those that you are helping through this project?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. It's been so amazing. The group members who were part of making the garden and building the garden has been, there's a social cohesion in the group, so they look after each other. They notice if there's a bit of a behaviour change, and they say, hey, have you been drinking your medication, or are you fine? But there's also, it gave them a sense of purpose of being able to, to have something to do and, wake up on a Saturday morning and we're working in the garden today. So the progress of the group members have been amazing, but we've also been able to use the garden since. for with our other clients, walking them through the garden and using it as a therapeutic space.
Just give them some point where they can relate and see
Yeah.
that they are not alone.
Yeah.
I wish we had another 3 hours to talk about some of those individual stories, but I've got to say thank you so much for doing what you do on a daily basis. I was terrified to do today's show, and Shami threw it on your shoulders to give us some hope at the end of today, and you certainly have done that. I think this is a conversation that so many people need to have right now in this particular country. I've got to say thank you for joining us and being brave enough to drive this message out there. To Stacey and Lynn, thank you so much for your bravery today, and to all of you for being brave enough to join us in this conversation as well. We'll have the details of everything that we have spoken about today on our social media platforms, so you can hopefully continue to have this conversation in a way that is meaningful for you. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much to you ladies and to you guys at home. Have a great afternoon.